Hey y'all, back during the summer, sometimes I'm late with people that send me letters and recipes, and so this was probably late August that I got the sweetest card from a man named Luke, and he said, "Dear Paula." Miss Paula, he called me Miss Paula. Love watching your videos. You have always been a bright spot in my day. Your cooking reminds me so much of my mama, who is also a wonderful cook. I've attached a few recipes of hers. One is for a casserole. The squash casserole tastes just like cornbread dressing. The dessert is a favorite of everyone in the family and expected my mom to have it every holiday. So I haven't seen the dessert recipe yet, but I'm going to check it out. And he said, P.S., blessings to you and your family, Teresa and Eddie too, because he knows they're part of my family also. So thank you, Luke. Thank you so much. I can't tell you what it does to me to hear these kind of words come in from y'all. In fact, now is a perfect time for me to remind y'all, if you enjoy watching my videos, if you would tell a friend, and it's very important that you hit subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing. It just lets the network know how many people are actually watching my videos. It's just an information source. So don't forget to hit subscribe. It will help me a lot. So, Luke, you know what? I think that this would make a good side dish for Valentine's Day. I went to a function Saturday night, and it was at a fancy place like the Cloister. And they served us a pork chop. That pork chop was that thick. So I cut all the meat off the bone and gnawed the bone. Because, to me, that's the best part around the bone. And some people took some pictures, and we have laughed about that. Paula might be from the country, but she ain't. So this would be good served alongside one of those nice, thick pork chops, because it tastes like cornbread dressing. So I'm gonna start by sauteing the onions. Let's see, does he call for butter? 1 stick of butter melted. You got it. So there we go. There we go, Mama. So I'm gonna saute our onions and our celery. Now, I think Luke didn't put a whole bunch of directions in here, but Luke says saute the onions and celery until translucent, and then mix all the ingredients together in a buttered casserole dish and bake at 350 for approximately 35 to 45 minutes. Well, he doesn't say anything about sauteing the squash, but I'm going to do that, Luke, and hope maybe that's how you do it. I don't know. But anyway, we got our stick of butter melted. We're going to go in with our onions and celery, and this is 2 ingredients that definitely make cornbread dressing. All right. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit and get this going, and then I'm going to throw our squash in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in our squash because all of our butter is almost melted. And let's see, I think he said just cook it until it's translucent. Your onions and celery. So I think I'm going to put the lid on this, Luke. And just let it get hot pretty quickly. And the other ingredients that it calls for is a can of cream of chicken soup, 2 cups of cooked cornbread crumbled up, and I would recommend using a southern cornbread, not one that's sweet. That's good, that's not sweet. 2 eggs, a medium onion, and 3/4 cup of celery. All right, so while our squash, onions, and celery is cooking, I'm going to mix up our other ingredients, which is a cup of chicken, cream of chicken soup. Gonna get it all out. And I've lightly beaten up my 2 eggs. So we'll mix that together. I can just imagine Luke saying, "This tastes like cornbread dressing." I can visualize that. All right. I'm gonna pull this off. And our butter and the water that we got from the squash has given us some juice. So I think I may temper these eggs a little bit, because you know I don't like scrambled eggs with my casserole dishes. And after I get this tempered, I'll add it back into that. Okay, I think that's good. Tempered. So we've got our 2 cups of crumbled cornbread, and like I said, it's a southern cornbread, not a sweet one. If you're buying box cornbread, my cornbread is not sweet, because I just, I would rather you add, if you like sweet cornbread, to add your own sugar, and so it makes the cornbread mix much more versatile. All right, so now I'm going to take our cornbread and stir this up. And I've greased my casserole dish. I think Luke said an 8x8 or a 9x9?
8x8.
Okay. Yeah, I can just see this kind of propped up on a fat pork chop. And your Valentine just drooling.
I like the concept of the cornbread because it'll give it a
I do too.
texture.
Yes.
I like the breadcrumbs, but not.
Yes. Look, there's a little bit of egg left. All right, I'm gonna have to get this close, because you know what? These pans are getting so heavy. When you get them full of food, I adore my cast iron. But great time of day, the older I get, the heavier it gets. But I do love it. About 30, 35 minutes, y'all. I want to thank you, Luke, for the beautiful card that you sent, and sharing the memories of your mother with me. It's very, very sweet. And I'm gonna dig into this and taste it. And remember, Luke told us it's tasted almost like cornbread dressing. So I'm gonna, looks delicious. Get on my fork. thought I'd let it cool enough that I could eat it. This is wonderful. This is deliciously. I mean, I think you could get people that say, oh no, I don't like squash. I think they'd like this. I think you could get them to eat squash. It's yummy. And although you didn't tell us to cook off the squash some, Luke, I'm glad that I did, because that made our squash so very tender. Thank you, darling, so much. And I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day. Make this for your sweetheart.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.